And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Got a little Friday work for y'all. Appreciate y'all for being here. Shouts out to us, LS and you, Louisiana State and all that. Brian brought us, Voch Lombardi, putting in a little work for y'all. You know, we have an official announcement next week. It's all being put together and all that. So y'all, please keep your eyes open, keep your thinking caps on, and stay tuned in. Brian, I know backstage I said I had a question.
Yeah.
It's not really that. It's more of a statement and a bold declaration. And then we're going to get into our homework assignment. We got 3 out of 4 today, but that's okay.
Gotcha.
Brian, I'm finding myself. Brian, you was right about this whole draft board stuff, man. Look, I'm giving you credit, Brian. You was right about the draft board because it's cool to just see it all in one place. And Brian, something that I find myself doing is the more I watch film on guys, Brian, sometimes you got to rearrange some stuff. There you go.
Four Pro Bowlers out of 8 picks.
You a bad.
That's what it meant. And it's even better, Voch, when you see it up on a wall. When you have all the tags on the wall.
Sure.
It's even better.
Sure.
It's even better when it's all right there in front of you, and you're like just sitting there, and you're like, okay, tags start glowing. Please, the all pro dudes just start glowing. Yeah. You know, one of those things. But
I'm just
ahead.
YouTube.
I'm glad you appreciate the draft board.
The reason why I say that though, Brian, because you and I have really struggled with defensive end Nic Scourton from Texas A&M. We haven't struggled with him. We have a good idea who he is. But Brian, what you got to do sometimes on this board is you got to move guys around. Sometimes you got to move them up. Sometimes you got to move them down. So Nic Scourton, I have as a 2nd round grade. He's moved below James Pierce, Tennessee. He's moved below Mike Green from Marshall. I moved him below Princely Human Yellen from Ole Miss. And Brian, I watched Donovan Ezadaruku today. Now me and
Boston College, yeah.
Boston College. Me and you we're not going to talk about him today because we want to finish our analysis.
I've got to do some more. I got one game of him, and then I had my day fell apart. So yes, I need to. But the other ones on the homework assignment you gave me, I think I'm good on.
So,
but yeah,
my overall point though, Brian, me watching Donovan Ezadaruku from that ain't how to say his name from Boston College, I even have him over Nic Scourton right now. Brian Brothers, and a part of me. I'm not fighting to not be a coward, Brian.
Yep.
But I just think it's really important to stand on what you believe in right now.
I got him in the 3rd.
I even went back to go watch some more of him, Brian Bros, to make sure I was right. Look, I ain't got him in the 3rd, but he gonna be there soon. This group of characters that I'm reading, he's not with them. When I mention him with Landon Jackson, JT Tuimalau, and Jack Sawyer, he fits them a little bit more. Than this previous group of previous group of rushers, Brian. So I just want to let everybody know I'm either going to be terribly wrong or I'm going to look like a genius and get a raise or something. But Nic Scourton is constantly falling down my list, Brian Bros, and I don't want to waver on that.
Yeah, me personally, I don't. I have him. I have Kennard over my 3rd round group. Let me kind of pull up something I wanted to look up with Kennard. Kyle Kennard is from South Carolina. Is a guy that I need to get you to watch.
Watch him soon.
But Kyle Kennard, Scourton, Stewart, Jackson, Sawyer. That's my 3rd round. That's my 3rd round edges. And we're going to talk about Ivy from Ole Miss.
Stewart who? Who is
Stewart, the Texas A&M.
Oh, I got him in the 4th, bro. Oh, sorry, but I didn't. I got him in the 4th. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so you went ahead and put him in the 4th. He could very well. You know, when you look at this though, I could see Jackson Sawyer over him. Yeah. You know, when I'm looking at it, I know we're going to talk about Ivy from Ole Miss tonight.
Yep.
And I'm not too sure about that one. That to me has got, and we'll get into it. I don't want to I don't want to put him out there right now. I'm going to talk about him myself.
Sure.
But I could see Jackson from Arkansas and Sawyer from Ohio State above Stewart. Yeah. I could very well see that. That's something that might, when you really start to put these guys together, when I get the Boston College kid done, you're going to have to move some of these guys around. Yeah. Because he'll be better than, or he'll be worse than, and you have to kind of make sure that you put him on the board the right way.
Everybody in the chat, just let us know what you think about Nic Scourton. I just wanted to come out and say,
I could be. You said it, bro. You could be. This could be Shante Carver to me.
Sure.
And I say that because I told the story about Shante Carver when we were in Green Bay, and we didn't have Shante Carver. We put him in the 6th round on our board in Green Bay, and Dallas took him in the 2nd. That's when Ron Wolf goes, "Boys, I hope we're right about this guy."
Yeah.
And that's going to happen. There are some guys you're not going to get a very good feel on.
Sure.
And no matter how much film you watch, you are not going to get the feel of the player that you think he is. Yeah. So I'm a little bit. I do think there's going to be some guys clearly that are going to be better than him.
Brian, I got some grades, man. For the homework assignment tonight, I got a 2 and 2 3s.
A 2 and 2 3s.
Would you like to guess who my 2 is?
It's probably the tackle from William and Mary.
I got him as a 3, Brian Brothers. So
okay.
So let's do this. Greg Zabel.
You put Zabel in the 2nd round?
He might be a 3 by the time I really figured out. But Brian, this was my
good for you.
This was my thing about Zabel, Brian. I'm trying to give these kids the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But the team, Northern Iowa and, and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw one.
Kurt Warner went to school in Northern Iowa, man.
Yeah, like
Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer.
Those James Madison kids. I might bump Zabel to the 3rd round. I don't know. But I'm watching Greg Zabel. And I really don't have too much bad to say about him. Mm-hmm. But versus the competition is what makes it weird. Because I don't have a bunch great to say about him neither. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, Greg Zabel, he's a solid moving player. Yeah. He sometimes can play with a little bit of power. Sometimes he doesn't.
Sure.
He stalemates a bunch.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good hat-on-hat guy. I think he has really good versatility. And I think that's something that he can be sold on, right? Because he's going to go to the Senior Bowl, and I think he's going to play both sides, and he's going to play guard and tackle. Yeah. So I seen film of him at left guard and at right tackle. I think it's impressive if you can go from one side to the other. And Brian, sometimes you can see a little bit of fall off at certain spots or whatever. I think he played right tackle pretty solid. I think he played left guard pretty solid. I think some of his big issues, sometimes those hands get a little wide and they end up on some backs and we end up hugging. Yeah. Sometimes he gets a little tall. And he stalemates a bunch versus these. Sure. Okay, I'm putting Greg Zabel in 3rd round, bro. Sometimes he stalemates a bunch versus these regular characters that you never heard of in your life. I actually liked him better as a tackle a little bit because I thought his movement ability helped him more at tackle than it is at guard. I don't think he's very strong. I like my guards to be powerful. But if you're running some wide zone offense, I think he could be a solid guard for you. I would really like to know what he would look like at center. That may be where his money's really at. But I got Greg Zabel. Let me drag you down right there, player. I got him in the 3rd round now, Brian Bros. I take it all back. The more I talk about it, I think him versus his level of competition means a lot to me, especially when I look at these other 2nd round guards like Wyatt Millam and Tyler Booker, and they whooping grown men. I don't feel good about Greg Zabel stalemating these college kids, so I got him in the 3rd. You're right.
You know what? I watched I tell you what, I watched him against Colorado, and I thought he kind of held his own in Boulder that night. I was like, well, okay. The kiss of death for me will always need strength work, but hands, feet. I felt like they kind of worked together okay. My last line was not uncommon for this school to put an offensive lineman in the league.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
It's just not. It's just, this is what they do. But the knee bend, I thought was good. I think he knows, when there's some snaps though with a speed rusher, it gets him off balance, but then he's kind of able to recover. I do feel like that he plays with some leverage. He's got a high football IQ, the positioning, he's kind of reading the situation and making the right adjustments. I think the run blocking stuff, there's some dry block stuff that's like kind of old school that he does that I think is pretty good. Yeah. When he comes off the ball, he could be good one-on-one. And then when he has to angle or down block, I think he's really good at that kind of stuff. So I think he does a good job of playing on his feet. I didn't see him kind of flopping around on the ground and things like that. So I have him in the third round. And I'm kind of in that mode right now where I'm looking at him. I've got our Arizona, Jonah from Arizona ahead of him in the third round. Yeah. But, it's a group of, I'll tell you what, these offensive linemen, I know we're about to talk about one.
Sure.
From William and Mary. Yeah. But man, this has been kind of a difficult group to navigate.
Sure.
I think there's some clear warts with several of these guys. And man, maybe not Josh Simmons from Ohio State.
Sure.
Banks from Texas, maybe as a guard. Booker, we like. You talked about Millam from West Virginia. Sure. Emory Jones. I don't know if you've done Emory Jones from LSU yet.
I have.
Yeah. Where did you have him in your grand scheme of things, if I may ask?
So, Brian, just like with Scorton,
the
more guys you watch, the more he kind of falls down a little bit.
Sure.
So I got Emory as like a mid-3 right now.
Okay.
Mid to late 3 right now. And I can see it. The more just thinking about where I had him versus the guys that I'm watching, I got Grant ranked over him now. I got Connerly.
So you got Charles Grant from William and Mary over him?
Yes, sir. And I got Connerly over both of them in round 3.
Where do you have Millam?
I got Wyatt Millam in the second round behind Booker as an interior guy.
As an interior guy, it makes sense. How about M'Bow?
I got Marcus M'Bow as a tackle, but I got him in the second round behind Campbell and Cameron Williams from Texas.
Man. This is going to be the draft show. Is going to be, I think, a couple of episodes of trying to figure out where these guys play. Yeah. Where does Emory Jones? Where does Millam? Where does M'Bow? Where does
Ursery?
Booker's, I think, a guard. Ursery. If you ask me the tackles, I kind of have Ursery as my last guy in the third round.
I got him as the last guy in the second.
Yeah. But man, I'll tell you what. Okay, you want to talk about Charles Grant from William and Mary?
So Charles Grant is a really good moving player, and I think what's going to matter with him is what scheme he goes to. I think it's really important what scheme he goes to. If he goes to a team that's trying to push people off the ball, that may not be for him. He gets a little tall sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you go to a team that's going to throw the ball or run some wide zone, I think that's his party. I think he's a really good looking athlete, Brian Broadus. He's not like a heavy guy, and I was going to ask you this:
300 pounds, 300 pounds,
because we had the conversation about M'Bow, because M'Bow is 300 pounds, right?
Exactly.
But you can't put this kid at guard, right? I don't think he really struggled with power or anything, but he plays at William and Mary versus schools like Towson and some of these other little schools.
VMI, Richmond.
I would love to. He's another Senior Bowl guy. Check. So that's gonna be very important for him. But his movement skills, Brian Broadus, laterally, backwards. I also think he has some really advanced hand fighting too. So I was surprised for the William and Mary kid to throw fake hands or snatches or setting up and feints and baits and all that kind of stuff. So I was excited for that. But I never saw him move anybody that way. And if you can't move the damn Towson kids that way, we got a problem. Plus, he's already tall. So if he's tall and getting taller and not bending very well, then that can be a problem. But if he's reaching people, you're having a party with him reach blocking people.
Yeah, I kind of felt like his knee bend was good. I mean, there were times when they set. I watched Virginia Military Institute.
You watch what team was that? Is that even a school? Is that even a school?
man, the tribal play whoever they have to play. And
man,
this kid's a left tackle, and you'll see him also come over and play some unbalanced. You'll see him play on the right side too.
Sure.
So it's kind of neat that way. I'll tell you something, Voch, I learned a long time ago. Don't bet against a kid that's a championship high school wrestler.
Oh, he a wrestler?
Oh, yeah.
I might as well move him to the second round.
There's two things that Mike Lombardi taught me when I was working with him. He says, listen, you get a lineman that's a champion high school wrestler or a player that's from Belglade, Florida, draft both of them. It doesn't matter. Kids from Belglade, Florida, draft him. Kid's a championship high school wrestler, draft him. Because, but yeah, this kid's made a ton of starts for William and Mary.
Sure.
He's, as you mentioned very astutely, he's invited to and be playing in the Senior Bowl. I think that'll tell you a lot about this. This kid's got outstanding quickness out of his stance and into his set. He's very light on his feet and the way he plays. I think he's got ideal length for the position.
Sure.
Because I felt like he could hold those defenders at arm's length and the knees were bending and the balance. I didn't see him getting overpowered, and maybe this will happen to him at the Senior Bowl with some bigger dudes. I didn't see him getting overpowered or knocked off balance. I thought he was kind of a natural knee bender for the position for his height. And the pad level, the leverage, through the contact, the mirror skills. Man, this kid is flexible. And I mean, you rarely see him off balance or out of position. And I think he could be dominant as a finisher. I mean, there's just times where like the whistle's blowing and you could see him turning the dude out, and the play is already passed. The toughness, you mentioned he is not the heaviest guy, and he's going to need some mass to his frame.
Sure.
I think you're right about the scheme. I think if he plays in a zone scheme, I think he'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
Because he's got that ability, as you said, the timing to make the reach, the cutoff is really good.
Yeah. And
last line is how well he performs at the Senior Bowl will tell how high he will go in this draft.
Yep.
So I think his ability is clearly there to be outstanding. I mean, he is when you start to talk about guys that can move and like they get in, they cut guys off and they turn back on them and they block them. And it's Virginia military. It's Richmond. I know Richmond had a bunch of championship, in the Colonial Conference or what. But anyway, what I'm saying Richmond plays good football. Here we go. You got some highlights. I was up reading my report there while you were doing all this.
It's all good.
But he's number 60. And this guy is, man, he's very light on his feet.
Good moving.
Very light on.
Good moving.
He gets out in space. I mean, he does not have problems. I mean, he could, like I say, he can latch on to his guys, stay on his guys, and go working here at old Walter Zabel Field here. And look at that. And that's passing off the stunt right there. Yep. Boom. Boom. There you go.
I'm a fan of him, man, but damn,
I know the Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl. Yeah, Senior Bowl is going to be the thing where he's going to be going up against some Ohio State dudes and Alabama dudes and Michigan dudes, and
Princely going to be there.
The story.
Princely going to be there. Princely and
they'll tell the story.
Princely and Ivor going to be there. So I'm very excited to see what that looks like, and one day when we get a chance to talk to Jim Nagy, I got to thank him. Because
Nagy, we probably get Nagy on next week. I'm going to try and do that for Tuesday.
Let's run it, because when we got these guys from these kind of schools, Brian, I'm not going to lie, man.
Nagy takes pride in this stuff. He really does.
I have a certain bias against dudes that's trying to block Hampton people, but I'll say this though, Brian. I think I like Grant. I think I might like him a little more than Zabel. Where you at with that, Brian?
He's better than Zabel. He's better. Yeah, and it's funny because I do think there's a little bias about the schools. Yeah. I think that Cameron Williams from Texas is probably a little bit better, sure. But Grant, I think, because I have Grant in the third is what I have. Mm-hmm. See, but I got Emory Jones higher, and that's an LSU thing with me, maybe. I don't know. Connerly, I've got to figure out who's the guards and who are the tackles. Sure. You know what I'm saying? I got to figure that out. And, I'll work through that one night. I'll call Gang of Seven and say, hey, listen, where are you guys grading? And maybe you and I'll do a show and we'll say, oh, they're grading Connerly as a guard. Oh, they're grading Millam as a guard. Oh, they're great. Oh, wait, Campbell is I just kind of feel like though that we just got to sort all this out. The one guy that seems like he is a guard is that Booker.
Booker's he's a bona fide guard for sure.
He's a bona fide guard right there. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
Brian, then our last character for the night, man. I got a chance to watch Jared Ivey from Ole Miss. And boy, I was watching him, man, and man, you have a hard time with these big old characters, these old power cats, these old run game dudes or whatever. Number 15 for Ole Miss. Great size though. Fantastic.
Oh, he's a beautiful looking player.
Fantastic size, Brian. Great length. I think he plays with a good deal of pop in his hands. I also think he's like a really good rundown player from an IQ standpoint, right? Like if they're letting him run free, he doesn't just run up the field. He squeezes or he's smacking the puller or something like that. Like he really gets busy in that department. I think he has I don't think he has a feel for stacking necessarily, but he holds his ground really well.
Yeah.
But he holds his ground really well. So he doesn't just get thumped around. He may fall and trip.
Yeah.
He may fall and trip over his own shoestrings, but he doesn't really get driven like that, Brian Brothers. He does have 7 sacks, but I won't call him a sack guy because those sacks, he had one ridiculous sack versus like Oklahoma or something. That sack was ridiculous. No. It was like Georgia. It was Georgia. He had a ridiculous sack versus Georgia versus the right guard swam or spin over him. It was something ridiculous. But he don't do that a bunch. So if you watch Georgia, he will get a good looking sack there, but that's not who he is. He's a rundown character, a big body character, plays B gap sometimes. I think he has some really good plays in B gap. Because then he just get to be big and not really have to think too much. He just get to be big in there and just go. But he's kind of got some of that. You remember we was watching Dorrance Armstrong, man, and he had to develop into a sack getting dude or whatever. But as far as Jared Ivey, for his size, I think he has some pretty good motor to him, some pretty good constant movement. I ain't see a whole bunch of loafs with him, but he did kind of he'll lose the ball sometimes or whatever. But I do think he's a really solid rundown player though, Brian. But what you got on?
I don't know. I even give my report because I would swear you're cheating off my notes, or I might be cheating off your notes.
I don't even have notes, Brian. They up here.
I know you don't. And I'm reading my notes right now. This is an interesting player due to his size and his length.
Yeah.
He's an older player. This is a 5th-year player. He transferred from Georgia Tech. So he played some years at Georgia Tech and then came over to Ole Miss. And you will find him aligned in several different spots along the defensive line. You mentioned about the B gap stuff, 3 technique, and then you'll see him at end. I didn't think this was a twitchy edge player type of a guy. I didn't see much bend. I didn't see much quickness as a pass rusher. I think he's going to win with power more than quickness or speed. Yeah. And I don't know if this is the scheme and him having to read, react, whatever, but there's some stiffness to the way he plays. I mean, I didn't see that getting around the corner with the quickness. The space stuff just was kind of bothersome to me. I thought he got stuck along the line of scrimmage. I thought he played a little high out of his stance, the redirection stuff, the lateral agility, the burst, the ability to close. He does have a motor and he does play with effort, and you will see him chase the ball, but it takes him some time to get over there. He covers some ground with his stride. I mean, this is a kind of a long guy, 6'6", 285. I kind of saw him more like as a 5 technique than a true outside edge. And when I say 5 technique, that's that head up in a 3-4, that guy that plays head up on the tackle, plays right down the middle of the tackle, doesn't play on the edge, doesn't try and get around the corner. His size and length, again, is impressive. I think the lack of quickness is not. He kind of falls into those A&M kids, big, I mean, all these A&M kids might be, when it's all said and done, might be really good 3-4, 5 technique head up players.
Yeah.
You know, might be more so than being on the edge and then getting around the corner guys.
I agree, Brian. I agree. I have him in the bottom of the 3rd right now. I mean, that can always change. He can always fall a little bit. But you got him in the 4?
I do.
Boy, Brian did not fool with these big old boys. He did not fool with these big old boys. But
I tell you what, man. I mean, if I was a 3-4 team,
sure,
those A&M kids would look really good to me. You know, the kid, this kid from Ole Miss, Ivy, would look good to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a 3-4 team. I'm just I need. God dang, I need.
Brian like burst. Brian want these Mike Greens. He want these.
Mike Green's one of my favorite players. If you
he
ask me right now, and Kyle Yeomans is going to ask you this question, so get ready for it. Kyle Yeomans is going to go, Voch, give me your pet cat. You're going to go without any question. You're going to go Mike Green. Mike Green's my pet cat. You know, from Marshall. Yeah, and that's what you're going to. You're going to find a guy, but you kind of find a guy that in Mike Green from Marshall, transfer from Virginia.
Yeah.
He was an ACC player, so he's nothing against Marshall, but Mike Green looks good. Mike Green, see, that's what I like. Mike Green comes flying off.
You want a good looking player,
yeah. I want somebody that can break down these damn tackles. I don't need somebody that's going to run right into the damn middle of Guyton.
That's a man and boys.
Like Guyton just give me somebody that's going to attack Guyton's shoulder and make him have to hustle. You know, I don't need this, and some of these 3-4 teams will say, "Oh, that's a good looking end." Yeah, and you'll say, "Right, it's a good looking end."
Sure.
You know, Chris Canty, he was a good looking end. Chris Canty played a long time, but that's, I don't know, man. If this is going to be my new thing, okay, Brian, what are the things you're missing on? Oh, you're going to say, well, Broadus always misses on the guy that looks like the 5 technique edge instead of that 6'6", 285 guy. Brian wants the 6'5", 255 guy. That's what Brian wants.
That's what you want. Well, you're gonna like Donovan whenever you watch him.
Man, hey, shout out to the people at the driver's license place. And, usually you think like government agencies are not very efficient. Our Texas motor vehicles folks are very efficient. If you make an appointment, it was a good experience today. I want to thank the people. I want to thank the people for getting this old man his license today.
Shouts out to the.
I'm just trying to be nice, man. I mean, I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to be nice about things.
You better than me. I got a couple more years of grouchiness in my body, but we gonna.
Oh, wait till you're a lot younger than me, bro. Yeah. I mean, geez, you got a lot. Yeah,
man,
you'll get there.
Man, Brian, we're gonna meet back up on Sunday and wrap this season up.
How about that? Like Sunday, we get to you and I'll be talking to you from the Miller Lite Field Club.
Bro.
You'll probably go, Brian, that's what we needed right there. That tankathon, I checked it. We're picking 11th.
We gonna have a little party if we can get to 11, bro.
Champagne.
If we can get to 11, I'm gonna have a drink. I'm gonna have a drink on stream, Brian. We gonna have a little party. If we can get to 11.
There you go. Well, yeah, I will. I'll see you. I'll see you after the game, about a little after 6.
Okay.
And we'll talk about the game for a little bit, and then you can give me some more players to look at. But yeah, what list are you working off? You working off Pro Football Focus? What list are you working off again?
I am
working Dane stuff.
I am working off the new PFF list. Did Dane come out with a 100? Because I've used up.
No, I need to ask him about that. If I can get his 100, I'll sure get that squared up.
We are done with Dane's.
50. I get it. I was doing the best of the rest kind of players. He's got the dudes that didn't make it. Kind of a thing. So yeah, I was gonna get those guys done, but I'm done. I'm done with all NFL team stuff. Now, I mean, well, in case we get free agency, I might circle back on some of those dudes because I got all that film. But from now on, it's full on college players.
What I might do, Brian, is take PFF's top 100 or something and cross reference it with the Senior Bowl list because the Senior Bowl coming up. just so we can knock out.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we have a couple of segments. We get Nagy on. He could tell us about his roster too. That would be cool. We can hit him some questions and stuff.
That's what we'll do, Brian Bros. We'll knock it out just like that. I'm VOCHLONBARDI, and that man is BRY getting broadest. And we'll catch y'all Monday. We'll have a surprise for Tuesday or something. Maybe we'll. So like, we work over there Tuesday? Do we come back over here and still work? Like we still work nights?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know, you get to. It's kind of like you do the. You know, you ever listen to Howard Stern?
Yes,
you ever listen to Howard Stern?
Yes,
Howard Stern, one of the most famous radio guys. Howard Stern does a show, and then they have a show that talks about what he talked about on the show.
We'll just
so we can have we can have draft show, and then we have draft show recap, and we can like grill everybody we hate on our show.
I love that to pieces, and that's what we're going to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, damn it.
Or if somebody wants to fire up a bunch of questions Tuesday night and ask a bunch of questions off the draft show, we can do that too.
I like that first idea, and maybe we could do questions like on Wednesday or something. We'll
that's cool. No, but I'm with you because I'm kind of, come back and talk about what we talked about on the draft show.
Sure. Yeah.
And listen, Wolchuk's opinion was awful about that player. And then, we can just kind of go at it,
Boy, I'm going to get on that ass, Brian, brother. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all.
See you Sunday, bro. Last one.
I will see you Sunday. Let's go get that 11, all right? We'll catch y'all next time. Love you to pieces. Crown.